In the legends of the old world, mentions of fantastical animals are quite commonplace. The classical era and following medieval era popularized the concept of monsters with animal traits, with compendiums on such creatures spreading throughout Europe. The fauna with supernatural traits have always existed in cultures around the world. The cradles of civilization each had their own origin of the many beasts that inhabited the universe. The Middle Eastern civilization of the Sumerians attributed the creation of monsters such as dragons, scorpion men, giants, and other abominations to the primordial goddess Tiamat, who herself could take the form of a primordial monster, such as a dragon, a giant fish, a merfolk-like creature, and many more forms. One of these great monsters was known as Ker, the first dragon, and probably one of, if not the oldest dragon legend in history. Their predecessors, the Hebrews, also had their own legends of the origin of beasts. During the birth of the world, God created three beasts to represent the three primal elements of the earth: the behemoth, representing earth and terrestrial animals; the leviathan, representing water and aquatic life; and the Z's, representing air and all birds. Together, this triad is simply known as the Chaos Beasts. The placement of the Z's in this group is sometimes seen as a later addition. However, some claims of this legendary griffin-like creature are also said to have existed in the legends of the ancient Jews. In China, there was a belief regarding a primordial man known as Pangu, who was born from a cosmic egg that was formed in the Wu-Ji, the primordial state of creation, and began to create the universe with the aid of four auspicious beasts: the azure dragon, the vermilion bird, the white tiger, and the black turtle, with the killin sometimes replacing the white tiger. The origin of these beasts is unknown, and it is never said that they were created by Pangu himself, and so it can be assumed that the auspicious beasts were, like him, born from the primordial soup. In India, the Vahanas were the divine steeds of the gods, who are not gods themselves, instead being animals with a transcendental nature, such as the giant snake Ananta Shisha, surviving the complete annihilation of all existence, known as Pralaya, and Garuda being the king of all birds that defeated all of heaven, including Indra. The Vedic belief differs from others in that some of their quote-unquote beasts were sometimes former gods or beings that had been cursed by being turned into an animal, such as the steed of Ganesha. Various other younger civilizations, such as the Greek and Guarani peoples, have similar legends of how animals and monsters were created by the gods to populate the world. Beasts are one of the most varied groups of creatures in the legend, ranging from brutish to elegant to humanoid to completely impossible shapes and forms. They also served as symbolic beings, using their appearances and behavior, such as unicorns representing purity, dragons representing the dangers of the wild, and manticores representing greed or gluttony. A number of these associations overlapped, as the dragons of Europe, known as drakes or the Drakkar, were infamous for their greed and hoarding tendencies. Beasts varied greatly in both behavior and intelligence. Some could only focus on survival and the next meal, incapable of higher thought despite their evolved nature, but this wasn't always the case. In Japan, bestial yokai such as the kitsune, neko, and jorogumo were quite intelligent, at times more so than most humans, and could even learn the art of magic, unlike some other beasts that attack blindly with raw spiritual power. In Europe and Asia, dragons are seen as incredibly wise, but also incredibly dangerous. The Long of China was far more benevolent than most dragon breeds, and even protected the inhabitants of its territory. The Azdahas of Persia were not so kind, and were seen as living natural disasters to be avoided at all costs, who were also quite intelligent, but ruled by their primal desires which, combined with their intelligence, made them a cruel breed of dragons. In Europe, a similar ethical division developed. Some dragons already did not bear high intelligence, such as the wyverns and lindworms, and those that did were very unpredictable, capable of going into rages that caused them to immolate entire villages in revenge. Some European dragons, like the Long of China, were also recorded protecting humans that dwelt within their territories, which resulted in clashes with other dragons. This was particularly popular in Slavic legends. Some beasts went as far as to breed with humans. While such children were usually the offspring of dragons, other legendary creatures such as the kitsune could take human form and sire children with humans. As the guardians of the wild, beasts were strongly associated with powers of nature. Aquatic beasts usually had power over water and weather, land beasts over earth and fire, and avian beasts over the atmosphere. More unique abilities, such as reptilian beasts having power over poisons, were seen with dragons, basilisks, and similar other creatures and examples. Their connection to nature has seen many beasts and monsters associated with ley lines, which are spiritual networks in nature that connect the entire planet, sometimes the entire universe, behaving somewhat like an esoteric biosphere. They are so connected to mythical animals, especially dragons, that they are sometimes termed dragon lines. The ability to manipulate these nexuses in nature can thus be used to explain their nature-based powers as well as their powers to travel to other realms, a common trait found especially with dragons. Associations with the cardinal directions, associations with the elements, and much more. Aside from these natural powers, they were capable of learning more complex arts such as magic, though it usually took time to master, just like any other magic practitioner. Beasts do not have a specific set of weaknesses, as they vary depending on the beast in question. Some of these weaknesses are directly tied to their powers, such as sirens, whilst others can die from mortal wounds as long as their attacker is skilled enough, and less intelligent beasts can simply be outsmarted by those who want them gone.